In the reality show 90 Day Fiancé, what transpired between Jasmine Pineda and Natalie Mordovtseva, with an explanation of the Viegas drama at the last resort. Two of the most scandalous cast members from 90 Day Fiancé, Jasmine Pineda and Natalie Mordovtseva, have become adversaries as a result of the fact that they appeared in 90 Day, the last resort. The narratives of Natalie and Jasmine have been very similar to one another. Both Jasmine and Natalie had failed marriages in their native countries, and they had ended their relationships with their respective spouses by canceling their engagements just prior to traveling to the United States. Natalie was the one who initially left her marriage to Mike Youngquist in the year 2020, and she continues to be adamant about not getting a divorce from him in the year 2024. Not long after their wedding in June 2023, Jasmine followed in Natalie's footsteps and ended her relationship with Gino. This occurred just a few months after their wedding. Immediately following her breakup with Mike, Natalie began a relationship with Josh Weinstein, and it has been rumored that Jasmine cheated on Gino with her current lover, Matt Brannies. Despite the fact that Natalie and Jasmine are both interested in modeling, their ages are not on their side. The fact remains, however, that Natalie and Jasmine are at odds with one another as a result of something that occurred between Sophie Sierra and Josh. Despite the fact that they have a great deal of similarities, it was on the first episode of 90 Day, the last resort, when Sophie made the initial revelation that Josh had been texting her on Instagram. Jasmine, Gino Palaciolo, Julia Trubkina, and Brandon Gibbs were informed by her that Natalie's boyfriend had sent her a message inviting her to Las Vegas. When Josh first messaged her, she admitted that she did not give it any attention because cast members do communicate with one another in the same manner as friends. Josh, on the other hand, began tweeting emoji comments to Sophie's photographs almost immediately. Emojis of fire and love eyes were seen on her body images that he sent to her while she was at the gym. Testing the waters was what Rob believed Josh to be doing. After that, he announced, "I'm going to Vegas," and that was the moment. Rob instructed Sophie to indicate her approval of Josh's emoji in order to see his response. At the time of Josh's flight to Las Vegas, he requested Sophie to accompany him. The reason that Josh was going to ask Sophie to Vegas was a mystery to Sophie. Rob disclosed that this occurred after the 10th season of 90 Day Fiancé had aired, and that they had just gotten married on the show. As a result, Josh was unaware that Sophie had broken up for him to shoot his shot. To put it simply, Josh was flirting with a woman who was already married. It was Jasmine's opinion that what Josh had done was offensive and that it was necessary to confront it. Rob, who was a member of 90 Day Fiancé, had taken everything else in stride. He was not envious of Sophie because she had given him everything there needed to know about the messages. It seemed to him that Josh was merely playing the field and was not really a player at all. Rob and Sophie were able to take a step back and gain some perspective on their marriage as a result of this. Rob expressed that their relationship wasn't that bad in comparison to the relationship that Josh and Natalie had. Natalie observed Josh and Sophie having a conversation at the pub during the third episode. The two of them were engaging in idle chatter, but Natalie was not pleased with what she was seeing. "She's gonna take my man." When Jasmine informed Natalie, in a hushed voice, that she believed Josh had feelings for Sophie, she experienced a diabolical feeling. She instructed Natalie to inquire of Josh whether he had invited anyone to Vegas. When Jasmine told Natalie that Josh had invited Sophie to Vegas a few weeks ago, Natalie was perplexed and wasn't sure whether or not she should believe Jasmine. Natalie was already a little bit intoxicated, and the fact that Josh did not pay any attention to her while she was at the club was starting to upset her. She had made a remark regarding Sophie's attire, primarily focusing on the fact that the British woman was not wearing any undergarments. She referred to Sophie as trash and began looking for a single guy at the club the moment she arrived. In front of everyone who was present, Natalie made the announcement that her boyfriend was going to Las Vegas with a new girl, whatever she is. Florian Sukaj was aware of the fact that Jasmine was the one who set the fire, but she was acting as if she was innocent. As a result of what Jasmine had done, Stacey Silva was doing everything in her power to calm Natalie down. 90 Days Natalie, who was engaged to Sophie, expressed her desire to engage in a mature discourse with her, but she declined to do so. Sophie was referred to as a her by her, and she was informed that she was not a normal woman. The fact that Sophie was 20 years younger than Natalie, and that Natalie was extremely insecure, was brought to Natalie's attention by Sophie. A number of attempts were made by Sophie to make Natalie comprehend that she was being rude. However, Natalie left the club while crying. Upon her return, she accidentally knocked Sophie's cup out of her hand, and Jasmine, who was seated next to her, came dangerously close to being injured by the shattered glass. When Jasmine saw that Natalie was going to leave, she became furious and went after her. In the midst of Natalie's instruction to fix it, she handed Natalie her pocketbook. "If you began it, you are the one who fixes it." On the other hand, Jasmine requested that Natalie refrain from playing games with her. While Jasmine was speaking to her co-star Natalie, she told her, You're crazy, but don't mess up with me. And refrain from making fun of ladies. You are extremely disrespectful, you have a large tongue, and you mistakenly believe that you are superior to every other woman." When Natalie was with a man who did not care for her, Jasmine advised her that it was not her fault that she was around him. She requested that Natalie submit an apology for the glass that she had thrown at her feet. Natalie did not utter a single word as she continued to stare at Jasmine in silence. It was Jasmine who stated that she had been patient and supportive of Natalie, but Natalie was behaving in a manner that was reminiscent of a brat. She went on to say, "And that is why you are alone, when no man can deal with it, which is why you are alone." Natalie had made an effort to act as though what Jasmine had said did not seem to hurt her, but her eyes were gradually beginning to flood up with tears. During the time that Jasmine was requesting that Natalie not mess with her, she had stroked Natalie's face. At first glance, it appeared as though Natalie was relying on Jasmine to find a solution to the problem. However, Jasmine instead referred to Natalie as crazy and requested that she refrain from engaging in games with her. Jasmine emphasized that she was not the one who initiated the dispute. On the other hand, given that Natalie and everyone else were aware that Jasmine was the one stirring the pot, it is possible that her inability to speak was the most appropriate response for her to have given. In her most recent Instagram story, Jasmine makes a dig at Natalie, implying that the two ladies did not reconcile between themselves while they were filming the remaining episodes of 90 Day, The Last Resort. Instead of attempting to move on from the matter and acknowledging that it was not her place to tell Natalie about the texts she received in Las Vegas, Jasmine took to Instagram and uploaded a picture of herself visiting Sin City with the statement, "I went to Viegas." It seems likely that Jasmine is trying to provoke Natalie in order to take the drama to the next level by using social media. She is doing this by making offensive comments about Natalie's English skills.